Hello, welcome to Africa Linese. I'm here with this gentleman here who is going to tell you all about the Netherlands with respect to slavery.
Yeah.
Some of his work that he's done.
Yeah.
Correct?
So, yeah.
Could you care to tell us who you are?
Hi, I'm...
Could you come into shot?
Yeah, I'm Mark Ponte. I work here at the Amsterdam City Archives. I'm a researcher of migration, slavery in the 17th century Amsterdam, basically. Also Dutch Brazil, but focusing on Amsterdam.
Okay.
And one of the things I found out and what I want to talk to you about today is that there was already in the mid 17th century or early 17th century even, there was a small African community living here inside Amsterdam.
Okay, cool. And just to put this gentleman under pressure, his name is Mark Ponte. Do you remember my name?
I have to look it up.
I know I'm being brutal.
Yeah.
It's me dodgy. Just there you go. It's okay. I'm sure he remembers. That's okay. All right, Mark, let's go. It's all part of the fun.
Yeah.
So let's just see. Okay, we're gonna go around. Let's go.
So yes, here at the City Archives at the moment we have an exhibition about Amsterdammers, people from Amsterdam that were at some point related to slavery.
Okay.
So whether as a victim of the transatlantic slave trade or as a slave trader.
Okay.
Or,
so these are people who, in terms of, made a lot of money from slavery.
Some of them made a lot of money, and others, of course, like Juliana here, didn't make any money out of it.
Okay.
But was sent to Brazil.
Okay.
But I want to focus.
Juliana.
Yeah.
What's her name? Is it
I always call her Juliana.
Juliana.
Because she came through Brazil, so we make it more. But we don't know her
origins.
Her original birth name.
Okay.
Which was probably, of course, an
African name. Okay. All right.
But we only know her by the name of Juliana.
Is that her?
This is not her, but this is a
caricature picture.
A picture made in the
image.
Actually the same period in Amsterdam.
All
so
right.
that's why we used it.
Let me just show you the picture here. There it is. But he will talk to us about it. Yes.
And Juliana is just one amongst a couple of hundred Africans living here in Amsterdam in the mid 17th century. If you look closely, this is a quite famous drawing of the Dam Square here in Amsterdam.
Okay.
It's made in the middle of the 17th century, 1653.
Beautiful.
And you see Amsterdam with lots of people. And if you look very closely
look at
in
this.
the front, you see it right away. This is a fish stall. And there's in between all these people that are living in Amsterdam, there's also one African
person.
We don't know
what she's doing. Is it a he or a she? We're not sure.
We're not really sure. I think she's a she.
It's a she. Okay.
But I'm not sure.
That's because he likes women.
Of course.
There you go. Okay.
And this is interesting, of course.
Okay.
And you see also people with turbans, so it's really like to show also how international.
So the Ottoman Empire and everything.
All here.
Okay.
But in fact, it is true that in this period there were quite a few Africans living here.
Okay.
And one of the examples we show here is Juliana.
Okay.
And Juliana, well, as far as we know, she was born in Africa. We don't know where.
Okay.
At the age of 11, she was sold into slavery.
Okay.
In Brazil.
Okay.
And worked in the household of a merchant.
Okay.
And in 1654, after the Dutch lost Brazil, so to say, this merchant came to Amsterdam and brought Juliana with him.
Okay.
And the interesting fact is, formerly in Amsterdam, slavery was not allowed.
Okay.
So if you look into the law books, etc., it would say that there's no slavery inside Amsterdam. But of course,
they circumvented. There was circumvention. They circumvented around it. Okay.
But the interesting thing here is we know Juliana only from one document.
Okay.
Which says that she.
That's this document.
That's
on the right.
This document here.
Okay.
And it talks about what the merchant, Elia de Burgos, he is called, wants to move to Barbados, of course, a plantation colony with enslaved Africans working at sugar plantations.
Okay.
And then he wants Juliana to come with him, but she decided not to go.
Oh, all right.
And she runs away.
She elopes.
Because she knows about the rules that are here.
Okay.
And in fact, in the document it is said that she ran away because she had heard here from other people here in Amsterdam that she was a free woman and not obliged to go with him to Barbados.
All right.
The interesting thing is, this is the only document we have like this that's actually saying this woman is leaving the house and going outside. But we do have a lot of documents. People from São Tomé, Congo, Angola, who lived here in Amsterdam and married.
Oh, all right.
So, and from these marriage documents, I found out.
You're able to put pieces together.
Yeah, you can put all the pieces together, and I found out that they were all living in the same neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
In the area where now is the Waterlooplein, where now is our city hall.
Okay.
And also the Jode Breestraat you have there.
Well, that's where Rembrandt was also...
And there was also where Rembrandt had his workshop.
Okay.
So one of the things Rembrandt did paint quite a few Africans in his work, and he probably painted his own neighbors or people that were very closely living over there. Okay. Because at the time he was living there in the 40s and 50s, there were a couple of families living very close by.
Okay. All right.
That's what I found out from the marriage, and also baptismal records. Because the interesting thing, marriage records and baptismal records do not only note the man and the women and the woman that wants to get married, but also the witnesses.
Oh.
And the witnesses show. They always bring in witnesses. Of course, the witness is a friend or somebody you're related
or family,
to, or family member.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing that all these people do, they bring people from their own community as witnesses. So at that, so I could map all these people together and find out that they were really a community. And you see this both from the witnessing in the marriage registers, but also the baptisms.
Okay, cool. And that his name was Eliao de Burgo?
Eliao de Burgo, so it's a Portuguese name.
Okay.
Yeah. The Burgos family did go to Barbados, and they became famous merchants over there.
Okay.
But probably Juliana stayed in Amsterdam.
All right. They weren't able to capture Juliana? They couldn't find her?
No, I don't think so. And of course, we don't know for sure, because it could be that they kidnapped her and brought her to the ship. There are any documents about it. And in fact, he legally had no basis.
He had no standing. Yes. Okay.
But in the time you see in that area around the Jode Breestraat where Rembrandt is working, we see documents like this all the time. Also, there's a group around a woman called Francesca.
Okay.
And this Francesca has a cellar dwelling. Like many poor peoples lived, of course, in small
shacks
and rooms and stuff like that. And about the shack, there's a whole group of people, because she is in a fight with a merchant at some point. Not only she and two. The document says 2 black men and 5 black women attacked the merchant on the street.
Who knows what the merchant was doing?
Well, no, I know a little bit what he did. He was a sugar merchant. He came from. He was living in São Tomé, the island of São Tomé, before. Okay. Then he came to Amsterdam, so it could well be that he was involved in slave trade, or at least he was involved in sugar trade, and maybe one of them or more of them were
recognized him. They recognized him.
They recognized him, or he enslaved them before, or something like that. We don't know that for sure. Okay. But the interesting thing is that because they had this fight, and the fella wanted to maybe started a court case against
prosecutor. You wanted to prosecute
her. Yeah. All the neighbors start to tell about what happened there on the street, but also that they knew this group very well.
Oh, okay.
And what's interesting is that, for example, one of the neighbors tells at the notary, makes a statement, and says that he knows this woman Francesca very well. That she was living underneath his house with a whole group of Africans. And also bringing in all the black people, like sailors, coming into her cellar, and that she matches them also together. So she's kind of like a matchmaker, but also like a community maker, so to say. Because if you look at the other documents, the marriage documents we know from that area, we see indeed Francesca is her name is the witnesses often in the documents.
Wow. Okay.
So she was really
well known, well established,
a well-known figure. And if you came in Amsterdam as for example, a sailor, an African sailor, you would probably go to Francesca because she was the person who knew everything. Oh, okay. And that's the way. That's the kind of material I'm working with.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So, audience, I'm glad we've met Mark. He's given us a little bit of a brief. So, as we go along, you get to know more. Mark's time is very limited, but we'll go. Let's see how far we can go. Okay, thanks. So that's good. We've learned about Juliana now, and we've just learned about our notorious Francesca.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, of course, here we don't have many documents about this community anymore, because this exhibition is about like until the 19th century.
Okay, cool.
We can also talk about that, or we can.
That's fine. If we're almost done, that's okay. It's also okay. Yeah, we can talk about it as well. It's fine.
What we could, of course, if you look at this history, and sometimes people want to pass us because.
It's okay. Let them pass. No problem. I'm just trying to focus this on you. Go on. Yeah. Just keep going.
So of course, this interconnections between Amsterdam, the African coast, Brazil, North America. It started in the late 16th century, and of course went on until now. But slavery and of course ended in the 19th century. This exhibition that we see here is about. So Amsterdam's connection to slavery through personal stories. And from the beginning, like we've seen with Juliana and Francesca, is that people from Asia and Africa, enslaved people, also came into the city. And this is a story that went on until the 19th century. And this exhibition is like, let's say we selected 10 stories. Just from individuals, not only from Africa or the Americas, but also from Asia, that ended up here in Amsterdam. And you can see just some examples.
I was fascinated by this lady. What's her name? Christina.
Yeah.
I was reading the inscription here.
So the interesting thing. So Christina.
Was she an Indonesian?
Yes, so she was an Indonesian.
An Indian lady, okay.
She was born in Batavia, which is now Jakarta.
Jakarta, okay.
So, and then it was a Dutch colony, right?
Okay.
And Christina was like a small girl when she came here in Amsterdam. She was brought here by a merchant, Adriaan van der Geugden, who was active in Batavia before, and then here in Amsterdam. And when he arrived here in Amsterdam in the 1750s,
dus Adriaan van der Geugden.
Ja, van der Geugden.
Geugden. As you can see, Geugden, and then there's the first name, Adriaan. There you go.
Adriaan van der. So. And when he arrived with his family from Batavia, of course, the first trip of 4 months through, she had to cross the Cape.
Half the world. Through South Africa, all the way,
the way up to the north, around Europe, and then to Amsterdam. He brought a small girl with him. She was the daughter of an enslaved woman living with him in Batavia. We don't know who the father is.
We think it's him.
We think, of course, that it was Adriaan. Also because this is what Christina says when she's arrested by the police. This is 100 years after the Francesca and the Juliana story. So we are 100 years later in history.
So this is the 1770, as you put it.
Second half 18th century. And the interesting stuff here is, even though slavery, of course, was not allowed, and formerly she was not enslaved, here he made her work in his house, and she decided not to
She rebelled.
Yeah, she rebelled, so to say.
Okay.
And then after she because she rebelled, he shut her up, not in his own house, but in the spin house, which was a
correction facility
specifically for women.
That's really bad.
And not only the police could lock you up there, but also if you were like a daughter or a servant that was making trouble, you could on your behalf.
But surely they must have been treated pretty bad in the
I think so, yeah. But we have, of course, the pictures never show the real stuff.
Yeah, because
of course it was like, and you had to work.
Of course, that's what I was trying to say. Forced labor. Yeah, forced labor. Okay.
Here in Amsterdam, we had as correction facilities was really forced labor. So the man had to rasp wood,
the wood
for the paint.
Okay.
Wood from Brazil wood.
Okay.
The red paint. And the women that were making
had to sew or stitch or clean. Yeah. So it's pretty much like a prison, really.
Yeah, it was a prison. she couldn't go out.
Okay.
She was really like a prison, so you stayed there all the time.
Okay.
After 2 years, she's released from prison. Then he tries to send her to another house to let her work. But all the time she runs away and comes back, and she goes to his house and throws stones
at the window.
At the window.
Okay.
And that's why she's arrested. But because she is arrested, we know her story now. Then she tells her story that she was a small girl coming from Batavia.
Okay. This is pretty good. I think this is pretty cool. Okay. I think we've had more than enough, but it's because of your time.
Yeah, we could do
one more. Okay.
I have one story that really is from Elmina.
Okay, cool. That would be nice.
So here you can just you see all different. She's also she's from Suriname.
Suriname. Okay, this is Susanna Dumia. Okay.
Yeah, which is very special because it's one of the only images we have
of her. Okay.
Of not of her, but of a
black woman
with the name and everything on it.
Okay. I think I'll try and make a story about her.
Yeah, you can.
As I use my imagination in order for. Okay.
But just to show you how things
progressed,
and also went on for 200 years. We have here the story of Johannes Charles.
Okay.
And Johannes Charles was born in the late 18th century. In Ghana.
Okay.
Somewhere in or around Elmina.
Okay. Is that him?
This is his eldest son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We have no pictures of him, but we do have the pictures of his children.
Is he mixed race?
Yeah, he's mixed race. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the interesting thing about Johannes Charles, well, he's one of the many children that were trafficked to the Americas. He ended up in Suriname.
Oh, okay.
Was there in the city of Paramaribo. He was in a household working. And in 1818, so in the 19th century, he was around 25 years old. He was manumitted, freed, and came to the Netherlands as a servant of his former master, or the wife of his former master, who herself was of mixed heritage. He was in Suriname. He already had a son.
Okay.
And his son was called Gideon.
Okay.
He had to leave Suriname alone, or with the family, but left his son in Suriname. He came first to Rotterdam and then later to Amsterdam. He married here in Amsterdam to a white Dutch woman.
Okay.
And they got many children. And some of them you see here. So these are the children born here in the Netherlands. But the interesting thing is we have a small family archive that this family has given to us. The the family Charles is still living in Amsterdam.
Okay.
He is like the grand-grandfather of this family. We have the pictures of his offspring, but not only that, we also have the letters that Gideon sent from
Suriname to the dad.
To his dad. So
Okay.
even though they never saw each other again,
okay.
They kept in contact for
a long time.
40 or 50 years.
Cool, that's
and in
nice.
these letters, we see
Okay.
some
of the correspondences.
It's only five letters, but it's because he was still in slavery in Suriname.
Oh dear.
And his half sisters and brothers and his father were living free here in Amsterdam, and that's some of the stuff he writes about. It was very short letters, so we don't get a really in-depth.
That must have been a strain on him for a while.
Yeah, and this is also what he writes here. Zonder u te berispen moet ik u melden dat het mij soms zeer onaangename gedachten veroorzaakt wanneer ik een vader heb in een ver verwijderd land en dagelijks schepen van Holland naar Suriname gaan zonder het minste te vernemen. What he's actually complaining that he sees ships coming every day from Amsterdam almost in Suriname, but he hardly gets any letters from his father. But once in a while he gets them. So he sometimes he writes like, "Thank you for the goods that you sent me." Okay. So they also had a contact. And in 1863 he writes that he is finally freed.
Because of the slavery, abolition of
half
slavery.
a year for the official abolition, he was freed already. So he writes down that he was emancipated half a year before. We don't know
what happened to him later. Do we know what happened to him?
No, he lived for a while in Suriname. I don't know.
He never came to visit the dad?
Never came. As far as we know, he never came
to visit
okay.
Okay. That's a terrible shame.
Yeah.
What a waste. So this is emancipated.
But the family Charles, the Dutch family Charles, survived, and they were first working in lower class jobs, but they in the end.
And so the Charles family originated from somewhere in Ghana. Yeah. In the Elmina area.
And if we go downstairs, we can go downstairs for a minute. We can see the offspring until the last
come on then, let's have a check.
I will do my walking.
Yeah, I'll put mine on as well before we get China.
This is what we call our treasury.
Nice. I was here in the morning or in the afternoon.
Oh, you already checked it out?
Yeah, when I was waiting there, I came to have a look.
So here are some of the originals of the documents that are upstairs. And there's one especially about the family Charles. Here you see some of the original letters.
Correspondences.
Yeah. But also the pictures, and you can see the next generations.
Okay. There's my camera. Yes, there you go.
And of course, here in Amsterdam, most of them married all the time to local white women and men.
They didn't plan it. It's just what happened.
Yeah. But so as you can see, the third or fourth generation of children.
You can't even notice.
You don't see any of the African heritage anymore. Interesting enough, one of the children marries in Indonesia, and then you have the whole Dutch colonial history in one family.
That's nice.
But it's very beautiful, and it's also very beautiful that this family kept these documents and these pictures, of course, for 150 years until they gave it to the archives.
This is really good. This you must have really laughed.
Yeah,
you must have been very happy.
This is a fantastic small archive. It's just
this is fantastic.
Okay. And these are, of course, people that normally you hardly have any documents about. So then this makes it very special. Also that this boy Gideon of
Also
course,
wrote
writes
letters from Suriname.
while he's still in slavery.
I'm impressed he was able to write because I think
Oh well,
because wasn't it illegal to?
no, and the thing is, he wasn't able to write.
Okay.
He went to a formal somebody that could write
scripter.
for him,
Oh,
as
okay.
a scripter. But he was allowed to send the letters though,
Which is not bad. Okay.
And also interesting. So his father sent him goods that he could sell. So he.
Oh, okay.
So it could well be, but we don't know, that he was emancipated, of course, half a year before slavery. Maybe he was like saving all the time with the goods that his father sent him. And in the end, he could buy himself free. We don't know that. Should be further investigated.
Okay.
Again, I have to go here to.
These are
Also, some of the. So this is interesting to see, because this is the same, the Rembrandt area, so to
and I
say.
can see a black person.
Yeah, yeah. And this is like a late 17th century.
Rembrandt. This is the Rembrandt area, yes?
This is the Rembrandt area. So this is not the Rembrandt, but the area where, and of course, at the moment Rembrandt wasn't living there anymore. But this is
Okay, okay. This is the Jode Breestraat
Jode
area.
Breestraat, just a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
So on the other side there, you would have across the buildings there. There's the Rembrandt house.
Oh,
but this
okay.
this is still there. This is one of the only 17th century houses.
Is that house still there? That small that wasn't in there then, was it? There's a slagboom. I don't know. This is a very small house.
Yeah, that's at the sluis.
Yes.
How do you say it?
Yes, by the.
It was already there, but it is a little bit
behind. Okay.
Behind, so you cannot see it here.
Oh, okay.
But what is there is this building.
Yes.
It's still there.
That's the Rembrandt's building.
This is not the Rembrandt building. It's a house de Pinto.
Okay.
If you come from the Rembrandt house and you walk back downtown, so to say, you see it on the right.
I'll look for it.
Across, you have the Zuiderkerk, and the Zuiderkerkhof here was a cemetery.
Okay.
And these two things are still there, and all the other buildings are demolished.
Okay. Mark, this is really good. Let's just go out and make the outro. Let's finish off the outro. Well done, Mark. Thanks a great deal. Guys, all for you. So when you're in Amsterdam,
I will send you a link also, because I will.
Okay.
I will do a presentation in London next week, but it will be a digital presentation. But it's going to be about Rembrandt.
Now he tells me next week he's going to stress my life as well. I have to go and look for him in London. Okay.
No, but I'm here. So, but it is at.
Okay, that's fine. When next week?
You have to follow the arrows. At the Institute of Historical Research in London.
Okay.
I will send you the link.
Oh, cool.
I think you can just join through the Zoom or something if you like.
Yes, of course. So you guys use Zoom or Microsoft Office or
they will
Skype or?
So I'm not. They said it was Zoom. I think Zoom conference. If you register, you can just join in.
That would be nice, because it's Black History Month in England.
So that's why they did it.
And that's the reason why I also wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
To get
So
this
I hope I did it.
I think you did really great, because I put you on the spot.
Yes.
I think I made a mistake, because when we met the first time, I could have asked you some questions.
Yeah, but no.
There and then, but I thought no.
No problem. We were there, and we had to.
I thought I'd give you some time. Okay, so I'll just finish off the outro from here.
Yeah.
Guys.
So I have Rembrandt on my face.
That's okay. So I would like the link to some of the work that you've done.
Yeah.
So as I can put it at the bottom.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be nice. And I think going forward, if you have any books you've written or any articles you've written, if you could let us know.
Yes, of
And
course.
We can,
And
also
now,
put that, we can also put that in the link.
yeah, and there's now, of
The
course,
link below.
the book.
Guys, this is my face.
Yeah, I will. The book Zwart in Rembrandt's Time, or Black in Rembrandt's Time,
Okay.
which is still on sale,
Okay.
is already available.
And what's the book called again?
Black in Rembrandt's Time.
Black in Rembrandt's Time. Is it in English or is it in Dutch?
So there are two versions. There's an English version.
There's an English version.
Yeah.
Where is it? I have
It's in the Rembrandt house, but also here in the shop. If you, I will show it to
Okay,
you.
all right,
But
fine.
probably here they don't have the English version. I will check that.
Okay, it's good. I think what Mark doesn't know is I speak just a reasonably little bit of Dutch, so I'm sure he would test me in a moment. Let's just finish off first. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, so thank you, of course, for visiting me
Yeah.
here.
Okay, so should we do the outro?
There's a lot of work coming up. So
Okay, that's good. So should we do the outro in Dutch? We're going to finish off. You can
hartelijk dank voor jullie bezoek hier aan Amsterdam. En ja, nou ja, hartstikke leuk om het een en ander te vertellen.
En ik ben blij dat ik heb Mark ontmoet. Het was echt een charmante tijd voor me. Omdat ik heb hem vorige week ontmoet. We waren naar een exhibitie, een lopende exhibitie. Dat was echt bijzonder. That's the best I would do for now.
Okay.
Thank you all
Yeah, fantastic.
For the next time.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Push your hands. Come on. There you go. We're done.